All right, this is the Mason Crosby Show presented by Verizon. My name's Mitch Nellis. His name is Mason Crosby.
Yes, sir.
What's up, Mace?
Not much. Yeah, I thought I lost you there for a sec.
You did lose me. I forgot to add us to the stage on the one day I'll run everything and it'll go just the way it's supposed to go.
You've done a great job filling in here.
Thank you. I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm supposed to do. It's just whether it all comes together or not. Well, good afternoon and high noon here on the Mason Crosby Show and the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network. Lots to get to on today's show. Andy Herman's going to join us at 1 o'clock. We're going to talk about Packers and free agency and all those rumors. Tommy Wirtz is going to join us in the next segment around 12:25 or so to update us on everything going on in Arizona with the Brewers. But we got the press release yesterday, Mason, and I know Packers Nation is feeling all the feels today, as we all should be, because we all know the amazing impact that Mr. Bob Harlan had on the state, on the city of Green Bay, on the region, on all of us as Packers fans, in his desire to keep the Packers in Green Bay, his drive and his dedication to the franchise, and of course the franchise-altering move and bringing Ron Wolf to Green Bay.
Instrumental.
Just an absolutely unbelievable legacy that there is. Like, Mason, we don't talk about this enough. There's an NFL franchise in Green Bay, Wisconsin. That's crazy. Like, think about the economics of global sports. We've talked about it this week about the World Cup and the World Baseball Classic and the Olympics. The economics of global sports, and there's an NFL franchise in Green Bay, Wisconsin.
Yeah.
In no small part to the hard work of Bob Harlan knocking on doors and meeting factory workers at 4 a.m. and going to diners and figuring out how to make this all work.
Yeah. I mean, his legacy is all of those things and more, because without a individual like Bob Harlan, who knows what would have happened, right? Like the pressure, if somebody else is in charge and they feel this pressure to move the franchise to tap into this, a different market, everything could be different. And so we have to celebrate the life and the legacy of Bob Harlan. And we're going to bring somebody in to help us with that.
We are. Before we do, I just want to let everybody know, 414-677-1250. We're not going to be taking calls during this next segment, and probably not that much today, but we're going to try to. But if you want to text in memories of Bob Harlan or thoughts of the Packers as a child growing up in the state of Wisconsin, I know the classic story of that. He always answered his own phone. Which awesome. Is just like absolutely unbelievable. But as you mentioned, joining us now on the guest hotline powered by Gruber Law, one called That's All. I'm going to mess up his title. I have it here somewhere, of course. Let's see. You know what? I'm going to
everything.
All everything. He's like the director. He does PR. He does media relations. He does community relations. He's super involved in the community. He's been on our air recently because there's always newsworthy items with our Green Bay Packers. Mr. Aaron Popke joins the air. Aaron, thanks so much for jumping on today.
Hey, good afternoon, guys. Thanks for the invitation, and good to talk to you both. And Mason, see you, of course.
Always good, Aaron.
Yeah, Director of Public Affairs. That's the
Director of Public Affairs. Yes,
that's right. In my position, I do a lot.
Yeah, you're Mr. Everything, right? You're all over the place. And
I feel like that is a very broad title. Like you just deal with everything outside of Lambeau Field. Like anything that like comes and touches the organization, like Aaron's gonna kind of coordinate and make sure that it's taken care of.
Yes, it's a fun role to be involved in so many different things. And the beauty of the role is I get to work with everybody inside the organization, get them in a position to, whether it's do our media or all the great projects and initiatives we have. It's been a lot of fun and a great position, and one in which early in my career, I got to work every day with Bob Harlan. So, it's great to hear everything you guys are saying about him. And Mason, I know you started your career. Bob was still president, CEO.
Yep.
So you've got some memories, but to hear the other guests you've had on and see the tributes that are out there, and it is all well deserved, and the stories do not get old, and Packers fans, I'm sure, love hearing them.
Yeah, Aaron, tell us about like kind of working under Bob Harlan and what that was like and what your role was at that time. Was it the same role as you have now, or was it different? And kind of just some of the memories and some of the moments that you remember from working with Bob.
Yeah, he, in what the other shows and what people have read and seen in video clips, was all very true. He was a great leader of the organization. He certainly had his professional and formal duties that he had in terms of leading the organization and making decisions that are all well documented. But the other things that people talk about too, just his mentorship and his interest in you as a person, and really truly cared for everybody at the organization, and wanted you to grow professionally, but wanted to know about you personally. I've been walking around the offices here, here at Lambeau Field, and there's still a handful of people here that worked on a daily basis with Bob, and just some colleagues in our finance team. This morning, we're showing pictures of them and Bob, whether it was at a function or a holiday party or Super Bowl in New Orleans, those types of things. So everyone's sharing those memories, and to a person, they've got an impact on them personally, in their professional career and their development here as a member of the Packers organization, but also just what they were as a person. And for me, I go back to 1993. It was my first year as an intern in the PR department.
Oh man,
awesome. With Lee Remmel, Mason, you remember Lee, and Mitch.
Oh yeah,
absolutely. Yep.
So my very first day, and Bob was a Green Bay guy going back to 1971. His boys went to Green Bay Promontory High School, which was the rival high school of my high school, Abbott Pennings, De Pere Abbott Pennings. I and John Schneider, you guys know John.
Oh yeah.
He and I were classmates going back to grade school, and we played football together at Abbott Pennings. So of course there was
Mason. I love Green Bay.
It's all those connections.
All the
that is
so great.
That's so great.
Yeah. So John Schneider and I would talk high school football with Bob and Promontory Pennings rivalry, but even throughout the city. And he loved high school sports, college sports. But when I got started my very first day, he came through and said hello. And I said, "Oh, Mr. Harlan, it's a pleasure to meet you." And, "Oh, no, please call me Bob." And we got to talking about Green Bay and De Pere and high school. And I went to the University of Wisconsin-Madison. So we had a great exchange. And on the way out, he said, "Yeah, right." He said, "All right, Bucky boy, good to have you on board. We'll see you around." And
nice.
To this day, he calls me Bucky, or had called me Bucky.
That's
in
amazing.
The workplace, and then after he retired, I'd reach out with media requests and checking on this and that, and I'd say, I'd leave him a message or whatever. "Hey, Bob, it's Bucky boy, and just wanted to have a request for you." He'd call back and say, "Bucky, I got your message." And, so there's stories like that, just on the personal level, the kind of person he was, and great sense of humor. But he also wanted you to develop, in your career too. I interned for a few years before I got on full time, and actually went and interviewed with the Philadelphia Eagles for a job in the PR department. And, I came back and ended up being able to stay here and talking to Bob about it. And he said, "Aaron, of course we wanted you to stay here, but I also wanted you to have the experience of going and interviewing and seeing what another organization would have." So my story is really small, compared to GMs and head coaches, but that was the type of person he was. Just wanted you to grow and experience things. But I would echo all those sentiments we've been hearing. Just leader in the organization, made those truly impactful decisions on the franchise, and put us on a course to where we have sustained success today with with the stadium redevelopment, and before that, of course, hiring Ron Wolf and Mike Holmgren, and of course the trade for Brett Favre, the free agent signing of Reggie White, and those were my duties back in the day, working in the PR department doing football comms. And as things evolved and expanded here, I did corporate and do public affairs today. And just what we do today as a football operation, as an operation in the community, and the positive things we're able to do, stems back to his leadership back in that day.
That's so great. We're talking to Aaron Popke, Green Bay Packers public affairs leader of all things there. Just making sure that everyone's taken care of. Talking about the late Bob Harlan and his impact. I'm thinking about this as you're talking about his legacy, just being from Green Bay and being in that community for so long. Yeah. Had he not come up and become the president of the organization and somebody from the outside or a different, like a different perspective, like, do you see a world where like the Green Bay Packers did not stay in Green Bay? Like, do you think, it's just literally because of Bob Harlan and his love of that community and what the Packers bring to it and that uniqueness? Do you think like anyone else like might have been tempted to move that team to some different location?
Well, you speak of decisions that were made that impacted our ability to stay here, to remain in Green Bay, and that remains a tenet of the organization today. Our current president, CEO, Ed Policy. He emphasizes that, win championships, stay in Green Bay, and support the community. That's right. And I think Bob was uniquely qualified from growing up, where he did, born and raised in Iowa, but coming to Green Bay and being here as long as he was. He essentially became a Green Bay person, having started in '71, knew this community, knew what it was all about, similar to his roots, but truly was a Green Bay person by the time he was elected president, and had that unique experience and just his leadership and just the keen awareness of what this organization, what it was, its place in the community. And when time came, he got elected, and you guys have all told the stories and have run the clips, even Bob, in his own words, he knew he had to make that decision to convince the organization to give full authority to the football people, and hiring Ron Wolf and changing our on-field fortunes there, and then giving them what they needed for support, financially, logistically, facilities-wise. But then that big decision in the late '90s that Lambeau needed a full redevelopment. Yep. And putting together the plan to certainly put together what funds the Packers could bring to that project with the NFL financing tools that are available, but we couldn't do it on our own. So we had to convince the public here to support it as well. And it was a thorough, robust process, if you will. And that resulted in the referendum to support it with the 0.5% sales tax here in Brown County. And what it did and helped us redevelop Lambeau Field, set us on financial footing for the next, at the time, we would say generation, but now we're into the second generation of plans and eras here at Lambeau Field. So it truly put us on a place where we could compete financially. That with shared revenue in the NFL and what you drive out of your stadium gives you those resources to put together a complete organization that can compete year in and year out. And we've done that. Under his realm, we had the best record in the NFL. And that was with the advent of free agency, when people said, oh gosh, the Packers are dead.
No one's going to go to Green Bay, Aaron.
Yep. And that big first signing, Reggie White, was incredible. And
talk a little bit about and to expand on that, Aaron, the foresight, and I know the story's been told that Bob originally brought Ron Wolf, I think in like '86 or '87, and it wasn't the right fit at the time, but he knew that when there was a change going to be made in the early '90s, that Ron Wolf was the guy he wanted. the foresight on the financial side to get the stadium and to figure all that out, but then also the foresight on the football side to hire the right guy and then to get out of his way and let him do his job, where so many, GMs and so many team owners and team presidents get in the way of the football process. Looking at you, Jerry Jones. But that Bob Harlan had the foresight to hire Ron Wolf and let him do his job, and what that meant to the franchise as well, Aaron.
Exactly. I mean, those are well-documented pieces and stories, and to hear Bob to tell those stories over the years, and the fortitude that he had to make those decisions. He knew they just had to be made. And you're right. Ron Wolf was considered in the late 80s for a position. Bob was not yet president, but he helped with the interview process, and it ended up not. Ron ended up not getting the job. But to your point, in Bob's mind, Ron was that guy. For hopefully in the future. And then when Bob was elected president in '89, we were in a position to, had some success in '89 that season under Lindy Infante and the Cardiac Pack and Don Mikowski, but did not sustain. And then in '91, as is well told, made the moves he did to bring in Ron. Unusual midseason and all those things, but allowed Ron to get a head start and know what he wanted to do, making the change at coach, and also identifying Brett Favre as a quarterback he was going to trade for. So, that was a domino on the football side. And then in the late '90s, and what we did with Lambeau Field was quite the experience then, and a lot was involved there, and that was a unique moment for all of us here at the franchise. But we knew it was going to set us on a good course, and on the field, off the field, it is that story. I mean, the Packers, you talked about it. It's an anomaly, to have a pro football franchise in Green Bay, Wisconsin. It wouldn't happen today. And
having a destination, right? Like once. Doing the atrium and doing where it's now it's 365. You can come right now in the middle, early March and come and experience what the Packers organization is about. You might not get to see a game, but you will get all of these experiences. And obviously Bob Harlan kicked that off. And then Mark Murphy, took it to another level. And now Ed Policy is, pushing it to this next side. So you've worked under and with all three of those guys now. Do you feel almost like GMs with Ted Thompson, this lineage where, Mark Murphy took some of the things that Bob did and it's almost like honoring the past and moving into the future, right? It's kind of how it felt with Mark. I remember him taking phone calls too from fans and from people calling in. And I know Bob did that as well. Do you think they kind of took that leadership that he put in place and have carried it forward into the future? Absolutely.
I mean, Bob, with the time he spent in the community and the organization, he learned firsthand over decades the special place that it was, and took that as part of his leadership. And those moments are well documented, how he connected with fans and those types of things. But also being able to make bold moves, have the confidence those are the right moves, and then allowing those people to do their jobs. I think that is a testament certainly to Bob and the structure he had in place, and the organization, and with the executive committee, the board, and helping make financial business decisions to give us the resources to field the football team. And as you both know, our resources are fully focused on the football team. And any revenue we bring in, it goes toward the team, it goes toward the stadium, and it goes toward the community. We don't have an ownership that operates in the manner that those other clubs do. So we're in a good place there. Now our competitive challenges are that we're in the smallest market. So, we keep that in mind too. And Bob was keenly aware of that. So he wanted to make sure we ran it as a good business for all those things we discussed. But I think certainly as Mark took over, he speaks of Bob and leaving it in a really good position to succeed. And Ed Policy has done that now, as he succeeded Mark. that the organization's in a good place, and it's the responsibility of each leader to be stewards. Stewardship is one of our values, and we take that very seriously, and that certainly ties to the unique place in the community. But just the responsibility to make sure this organization is in a competitive place in terms of our finances and the way we run our football operation, that definitely has carried through, and I think that can be pointed back to Bob and the way he set things up and the way to run things. Mark took it and took it to another level and was a steward, and Ed Policy feels the very same way. There are some different types of challenges that Ed Policy faces from the competitive landscape of the NFL, and he's ready to meet those challenges and continue this anomaly, a little engine that could here in Green Bay, but certainly continue to be competitive on the field and be we feel we're a flagship franchise in the NFL for many good reasons, and Ed Policy is in a position to continue that. And looking back on this people he succeeded, with Mark and Bob and what Bob has started, certainly.
Director of Public Affairs, Aaron Popke, joining us on the guest hotline powered by Gruber Law. Aaron, as we wrap things up here, I guess I'll ask, as there's young reporters, as you're out in the community and there's teenagers or young people in their 20s who hear the name Bob Harlan, but might not know what Bob Harlan meant. We've talked a lot about it. What's kind of that lasting, nugget that you want to leave that my daughter who's 15, who's a huge sports fan, who doesn't know who Bob Harlan is, or that intern who comes in and has loved the Packers all their life and has heard the name Bob Harlan, but doesn't really know what hearing that name means. What's that lasting nugget you want people to walk away from as part of his legacy?
Well, first and foremost, he was a really great person, a great human being, a great mentor, a great leader. No matter what you did, he wanted you to succeed and offered his help in doing that. An example as a great man in the community. He and his wife Madeline for years served on many boards in the community charity organizations and fundraising. There wasn't a thing he did not touch, seemingly, he and Madeline. Just great people. And he was a great example as a husband, a father, a grandfather, a great grandfather. His boys, Kevin, Brian, and Michael, great people who have gone on to success in their careers, certainly with what their father and mother taught them in terms of how to succeed and treat people the right way. He was as true a man as there was. So, it's just a shining example in terms of being a leader, being a good person and personable. And he did it all with a really great sense of humor too. It was a fun place to work with Bob, recognizing the challenges that were there and also celebrating the good times and achievements when they came. So all around, great guy, great human being, great leader, great family man, did things the right way. And no matter what you did in your role in the organization, you could look to Bob and say, whoa, we have different jobs, but I'm going to try and do my job the same way Bob Harlan does his job and treat people.
I love that.
That's great.
Well, I can't wait for the celebration of his life. I'm sure y'all are starting to get plans in place for what that will look like next season. The video tributes and all the things, because his legacy is well intact and is stamped there in the organization. And we are also grateful. Our thoughts and prayers go out to him, his family, and he will always be remembered as a great Packer.
Yeah. Aaron, thank you so much. Go ahead.
No, I'd say, yeah, exactly, Mason. I agree with you. And our website, you and your listeners and viewers have seen this, and your website's got some great stuff, but put some really neat stuff on the site between videos and photos. And if you saw our press release, it was great to reach out to all those people, talking to Ron Wolf, Ron Wolf, Mike Holmgren, and our player Brett and Aaron and all these people who who got to work with Bob and just talking to them and reminiscing and hearing their own memories. And there's some really neat things on there people can see. I've just been talking to Mike Sherman the last couple of days, and we've got some stuff that we're going to add to him, our head coach for a time with some great seasons. Yeah, all good stuff, all good memories. We're mourning, certainly, and it's sad, but also these are pleasant memories too, with celebrating his life and what he meant to the Packers, the organization, and our fans all over the world.
Absolutely. Aaron, thank you so much for taking the time. Thanks for all you do with the Packers, and we will catch up with you down the road.
Sounds great. Thanks, guys.
Absolutely. Director of Public Affairs, Aaron Popke with our Green Bay Packers, joining us here on the Mason Crosby Show. When we come back, Tommy Wirtz is in Arizona. We will catch up with him, hear what's going on with our Milwaukee Brewers. This is the Mason Crosby Show, presented by Verizon, the official 5G network of our Green Bay Packers. This is the Mason Crosby Show. I'm Mitch Nellis. He's Mason Crosby. We are presented by Verizon, the official 5G network of the Green Bay Packers. Again, our thanks to Aaron Popke for joining the show. Andy Herman is going to join the show at 1 o'clock. We'll continue our discussion about Bob Harlan and honoring his memory and legacy with Andy, and also look ahead to free agency. But we take a little diversion from the Packers because I went Brewers today. We got to go down to Arizona. Joining us now on, oh my gosh. Look at that good-looking gentleman. I miss him so much, Mace.
I know, it's got to feel weird. You're just alone there in the station.
I am.
Looking for your guy and pushing all the buttons yourself. It's crazy.
What? Joining
I
us
had to
now.
do a promo today with Sparky. Come on, Tommy.
Oh man, wow! That reminded you of when you first started all over again. You're welcome for relieving you of that duty.
Joining us on the guest hotline powered by Gruber Law. He is 1/3 of the Mason Crosby Show. He is Brewers pregame, Brewers postgame, hot stove, spring training,
head of security,
Green Bay postgame, all the different head of security. Tommy Wirtz.
Have you raked any of the diamond? Like, have you gotten out there, gotten back on the grounds crew a little bit?
I'm past the grounds crew days. They don't trust me out there. Plus, then I'd have to bring Tim, and I think he would just mess up the line that I already do if he's following me behind. So, yeah, Arizona, it's good. Last day here, though, boys. So I'll be back on Monday, ready for you guys.
So excited!
Nice.
I'm so happy for you to be back.
Well, I won't be here.
No,
of course.
Where are you? Where are you on Monday?
It's spring break. So
kids don't go to school. Kids don't go to school anymore. There it is.
I mean,
so
you don't believe in spring break either. You don't think that they should have a
is Easter that close?
No, Easter's a month away, bro.
Yeah, no.
So you have spring break and you have Easter break?
Yeah, that's
what are you doing, Mason?
Yeah, what are we supposed? Yeah, like I mean, come on.
That doesn't make sense. What are your kids in college?
It should be completely lined up with Easter. Easter Sunday is the last day off of spring break. You get the week before that. That's how.
No, see, I always thought that was ridiculous up there. I'm like, what? You don't get two break times? Come on.
No, we go to school. We go to school. That's what we do.
All right, Tommy. Okay. I want to talk about the starting rotation because we got some news this week. Quinn Priester dealing with a little injury, and Woodruff, of course, on his own timetable. What's going on with the starting rotation for our Milwaukee Brewers, bro?
I'm a little nervous about it. Just from the uncertainty side, I don't know. We learned today in the briefing from Pat Murphy that you can pencil in 2 guys right now for opening day, health pending, I guess you could go with more. But Jacob Misiorowski, Chad Patrick will be in this Milwaukee Brewers starting rotation. That is from the words of Pat Murphy. He said, write that down. Chad Patrick, Jacob Misiorowski will be in this starting rotation. Now, Quinn Priester, it's really more of they don't understand how his body is responding to a lot of this. Sometimes he'll throw, and the next day he feels great. Sometimes they'll throw, and the next day he doesn't feel great. But it's nothing that is ligament damage or anything more than inflammation, it sounds like right now. So they're really just trying to figure out why his body is responding the way it is after some of his outings. And all signs are kind of pointing to an early season IL appearance. I don't know if that's going to be a long-term one. It sure sounds like it's going to be short-term. They're not really concerned about any long-term damage with Quinn Priester. And Brandon Woodruff, another interesting story. I don't know if we can rule out Brandon Woodruff for opening day now. And I think at the beginning of the week, you would say it sure sounds like he's not going to be ready. And by no means did we get any inclination that Brandon Woodruff will not or will be ready for opening day. But just from my speculation, talking to Pat Murphy today, he's going to throw tomorrow and they're going to see how his body responds. I think that's more or less what we've been hearing all this time here in spring training, that it's all about just seeing how this ramp up can go if the timeline is opening day. And Brandon Woodruff, while I would deem it unlikely he would be the opening day starter, I would not put it at a 0% chance by any means.
So who would you guess right now that would be the opening day starter?
If you had to wager.
Jacob Misiorowski.
Ooh, let's go.
Or Aaron Ashby. Opener.
I
know. And we asked Pat Murphy about that a couple of days ago. Tim had even said, "Are you ruling out an opener?" He said, "No, I'm not going to rule out an opener for opening day." But
what are we doing?
It didn't opening day used to mean something, Mitch?
Yes.
Didn't it used to? Wasn't that like a badge of honor to be the opening day starter? And
you got to have your stud. You got to find a stud.
I will boo Pat Murphy. And I love Pat Murphy, but I will boo him for you can boo somebody for a specific decision and still love them. Like I love Pat Murphy, but I would boo him for starting Ashby or an opener because I just no.
Well, Aaron Ashby,
no.
Aaron Ashby is going to be a part of a group of other starting pitchers that are getting stretched out for an opportunity to be a starting pitcher in the 5-man rotation for the Brewers. Right now, I would guess that you have 2 open spots with Priester, maybe it's 3. I mean, you have a group of pitchers right here that they're looking for that 5th starter still, right? So they have 4 guys that you would think they're pretty confident in with Brandon Woodruff, Quinn Priester, Jacob Mizorowski, and Chad Patrick when everyone's healthy. And then that 5th spot, I would lean it's Kyle Harrison.
Got to be a lefty,
right now.
right? Got to be a lefty.
It's got to be a lefty, you would think. I would guess it's Kyle Harrison, but I also think that DL Hall is got an option to be there. Aaron Ashby, it sounds like, has an option to be a part of that rotation. Maybe it's Robert Gasser. Maybe, hey, long shot Shane Drowan. I'm telling you, this Boston trade.
Not yet.
This Boston trade.
Just be careful. Thunder's going to just take off his Brewers shirt if you keep throwing out.
No. I love Drowan. I just want to bring him a little bit more slowly along. Just because he's never really done it before, but I think he's going to be special. I agree.
Well, Mitch, there's not a lot of guys in this Brewers starting rotation that have done it before. I think they have 2 guys that have more than 30 starts in the big leagues. I mean, you're looking at Brandon Woodruff, who last year had 12 starts. Kyle Harrison has 37 career starts. And then after that, there's not really anyone else who has much big league experience right now at the major league level.
So I think it's Harrison to start just because he has that experience. But again, that could totally change by May. You never know.
It could change by next week.
Tommy Wirtz joining us. I thought the starting rotation was the lead, and I didn't mean to bury the real lead. And the real lead was Jake the Snake Bowers yesterday. Garrett Mitchell and Jake Bowers. Talk about what they both did yesterday.
Yeah, Garrett Mitchell, 462 feet. Did anyone think Garrett Mitchell could do that? Wind was blown out a little bit at Salt River Fields at Talking Stick, but still quite a poke on the first pitch of the game from Garrett Mitchell. And then Jake, I mean, what more do we expect from the guy? In the biggest games, he comes up with the biggest moments. And that was the biggest spring training game on the offensive side so far this year for the Milwaukee Brewers. It's the first win they've gotten since we've been here. We kind of thought that we were bad luck charms. But on top of that, the only reason we knew the offense was going to go off is because we had to obviously go back to the hotel to get the show ready, and we had to leave early. And then that's when everything really started going.
Oh my gosh.
So you didn't even see Jake Bowers.
I did not see Jake Bowers.
But you know what happened.
Homer. I will miss every single one of Jake Bowers at bats if it means he homers every time I do. So
what happened against England? I mean,
come on
now.
Those guys came across
the Brits
the pond.
took it. I know what.
Yeah, all those British players that play for Great Britain.
Exactly.
It is, Harry Ford, Jazz Chisholm, and Trace Thompson. Some people are calling him the Nina, the Pinta, and the Santa Maria. I mean, they just came and they conquered. That's what happened. And Jacob Mizorowski, he had a very Jacob Mizorowski outing where he went 2 innings, and in the first inning, he walked Jazz Chisholm. Once he walked Jazz Chisholm, he had struck out the man before, he struck out the man after. And then there was the little shaved off bloop hit just over the third baseman that, wow, how did you get that hit off of Miz? And then the next guy makes him pay. But he struck out 5 guys in his 2 innings. He had some command after it. We talked to him a little bit yesterday about the command and what he's working on heading into 2026, saying, is that something you feel like you can learn or you figure it out along the way? And he had basically said he's not sacrificing velocity for any location. He has a special arm that he is going to continue to just rear back and throw it as hard as he can, no matter what pitch it is, every time he goes out there. And hopefully he finds a spot when he does it. Now, I think, again, Jacob Mizorowski, we've seen it now for the last year and a half or year, I guess, that he just seems very unlucky on some of the hits that happen against him. He gives up a dribbler, the one that against Chicago where it hit off of him, and just little bloop hits. I think he's going to be just fine, and I'm really confident that he's going to be a stud for this Milwaukee Brewers team. But England, I guess the Redcoats aren't as bad at baseball as we thought.
Did they bounce a couple balls and it became like a cricket match? I mean, were they hitting them off the?
Nice.
It was.
But
crazy.
Did they use real baseball bats, or are they like more cricket bats? Like, are they like kind of big flat paddles?
It's real baseball.
I think Team India is using cricket bats, which doesn't exist in the.
All right, I have
WBC.
something fun that I saw.
Was it
talking about Miz and like he's just worried about velocity and not command? And I thought of you two and your love of baseball. It was Greg Maddux, and it was a stat that I guess he, like in his 18,000 or 20,000 at bats that he faced, the batters, only 133 times did he go like have an 0-3, like they had like
3-0 count
or 3-0 count. Sorry, yes, 3-0 count. Like that is insanity.
Yeah, he's
right.
Yeah.
And that's not Miz's game, right? Maddux was painting 90 on the black the entire time. Now, again, you guys haven't brought up the ABS system at all, and I am.
I saw that. Was that Skeens? Like he missed by like a less than 0.1 inches.
We're talking about 0.2 of an inch on these calls, and all of these pitchers
you hate the
are.
ABS.
I hate the ABS, man. I'm sorry. I'm gonna be on that boat for a while. It's so many times that the Cubs game 2 days ago. They challenged 3 times in the second inning. Now, the other part of this, though, is that there's going to be a lot of strategy with ABS now. Yeah. And even the Milwaukee Brewers brought it up. This might be my last point then, I guess, here, that they're going to have this be a pretty collaborative effort. And in the dugouts, you will actually see coaches holding up a green card, meaning this is an okay count to challenge, or a red card.
Now.
Yeah.
Well,
you got to communicate.
Because they lost to Great Britain, now red cards are in baseball.
Yeah,
that is
yellow and red. Yeah, they'll have a yellow too, just like if you feel like it. Yeah.
So they're going to make this some sort of an effort on. It's going to be very situational. It's going to be very count driven more than it's going to be. How are you feeling about this? Yep. And it's going to be something that all of them are going to have to practice now too, because you're going to have to recognize your specific strike zone. It's not based on where you stand or how you stand in the box. It's based on your height. It's based on the width of the plate. And even if you're a guy who's 6'8" and then you crouch all the way down so that your chest is touching your knees,
you're 6'8".
The strike is going to be above your head. Like your zone is based on your height now. And I think that this Brewers team, you're not going to want to be mad at players when they challenge calls and miss it. It's probably going to be more of, hey, Pat, why are you challenging that one, or giving him the green light?
I could see the Brewers being one of the best ABS challenge teams in the league. I mean, that's just something they'd be really good at. Yeah.
Bill Contreras is about to be a monster challenging. You already know. Like, that is professional strike zone knower, Bill Contreras.
That's right.
And I can't imagine. Jackson Churio also, if you guys didn't hear, hit on the hand yesterday at WBC. Doesn't seem like there's any damage though. Bruise.
No.
He's going to sit out today. Probably
available
back
to
in the
pinch
lineup.
Hit, they said.
Yeah,
but probably won't play a couple days.
Murph doesn't want him. Murph said send him home. He's like, I'm all over it already. But he avoided anything too serious. It sounded like
that is the hope. Absolutely. Tommy Wirtz, along with Tim Allen, you'll hear them tonight 5 to 7 right here on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network. Tommy, thanks for all your hard work this week. Thanks for all your amazing work. And we can't wait to see you on Monday.
I've learned how to play video poker since I have left.
Nice.
And I've learned how to sneak as many cigarettes as possible in places you're not allowed to smoke.
Perfect.
So that is
lessons learned.
Very productive trip. And I'm wearing collared shirts too.
You look ridiculous.
You are a professional.
Yeah, I know. And I'm also pack a razor because I didn't pack a razor either. Thanks, Mitch. When I asked
heaven forbid there'll be a Walgreens or a CVS anywhere in Arizona.
No, I'm not shaving my whole face. I needed to touch it up, and now I look like Grizzly Adams down here. So
travel safe, Tommy.
Yep.
Talk to you later,
love you guys.
All right, we'll see you Monday. That is Tommy Wirtz. Can't wait till he gets back. Can't wait.
Yeah, gotta get him back in the building.
Yep, we'll wrap up we'll wrap up the first hour of the show. Andy Herman going to join us at the top of the 1 o'clock hour. This is the Mason Crosby Show, presented by Verizon. This is the Mason Crosby Show. Thanks for Tommy for jumping on. Mason, Rashawn Gary, gone.
Yep, he just posted something out, it looks like. So saying farewell.
We kind of assumed that was going to be the case. But now it looks like it's official or not official. I don't know.
Yeah, no one was trading for that deal. Like he'll obviously get picked up and something will happen.
Geno Smith expected to be gone from the Raiders. Jason Sanders gone from Miami.
Yeah.
And rumors Romeo Dobbs to the Niners.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll
I think I saw 3 for 49.
Yeah, I saw that's the and we won't find out till next week. But that's a lot of, good for him getting the cash, 20 million guaranteed. I think I saw.
Seriously.
Yeah, that's that. Yeah, and you know what? We got the perfect guest coming up next to talk about all that.
Yeah, let's dive into it. Andy will have all kinds of opinions.
Yeah, he is dialed in and is following all this stuff. So we will see what Andy Herman, Pack a Day Podcast, has to say about free agency as rumors already flying, names already all over the place. He's Mason Crosby. I'm Mitch Nellis, a.k.a. Thunder. We are the Mason Crosby Show, presented by Verizon, the official 5G network of the Green Bay Packers. Andy Herman is next.
Let's go.
A Super Bowl champion.
The Green Bay Packers have won the Super Bowl.
The Packers' all-time leading scorer.
A game winner for Mason Crosby.
It's time for the Mason Crosby Show with Mitch Nellis, presented by Verizon, the official 5G network of the Green Bay Packers, on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook, and on the free Odyssey app.
This is the Mason Crosby Show. Welcome into hour number 2. My name's Mitch Nellis, a.k.a. Thunder. His name is the Kicker. That's not his name.
I'm the
That's
kicker. I'm a person. I'm a real,
you're a
person.
You're a person too?
Yeah.
Oh, his name is Mason Crosby. He is a real, actual human being.
I'm a real
He's
human.
not just a robot kicker.
Robot AI kicker.
Yeah.
I wish. Man, that would have been fun.
Jason, we mentioned real quickly, Jason Sanders not going to be released by Miami.
Yeah.
I think he hit his last 20. He's on a 27 kick streak.
Yeah, 27 made. I think he made like his last, I think it was 950 plus, something like that. So that's impressive.
Yeah.
I don't think he wants to go to Green Bay, though.
Brandon Aubrey?
Go from Miami to Green Bay.
That's rough. That's like going from Dallas to Green Bay. Nobody wants to do that either.
I know. Yeah, it'd be crazy the Packers go and chase like a Brandon Aubrey, but I feel like he's gonna go. I could see like Indianapolis.
I can see
yeah, somewhere
dome.
Another dome somewhere
Sure.
with like favorable conditions.
Right, and they, their away games are Nashville, Jacksonville, and Houston.
And
So
Houston, yeah,
those are also favorable conditions. Joining us now on the guest hotline, powered by Gruber Law, on the Mason Crosby Show, presented by Verizon, one of our absolute best friends, favorite guests, the one, the only, Andy Herman, Pack a Day Podcast. Let's go. Hi, Andy.
Fellas, how the heck are you guys doing? Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
I saw you you post a little something kind of teasing out that you might be going live on Monday, doing a little free agent or start a free agent show. So as we're right on the cusp and we're seeing some releases, some moves, some signings happening. What's your feel that the Packers are going to do? Do you think they're going to be active in this free agent process?
We got a little bit potentially of a kind of starter pack on that today. Well, we got yesterday was Xavier McKinney doing a restructure, but it sounds like, at least per Rashawn Gary's Instagram, he is not going to be back in Green Bay, as I'm sure you guys have discussed. But we just heard from Tom Pelissero that nothing has been confirmed yet, that he has not been released or traded as of yet, but Rashawn does not expect to be back in Green Bay. All options still on the table, but that is ongoing. But if they, they've already restructured Xavier McKinney, they are now likely doing something with Rashawn Gary. I would still expect something to get done with Elton Jenkins as well. And you're probably 1 or 2 more restructures away from potentially being able to do some really fun stuff if they wanted to in free agency. So it does seem like they're clearing some cap space to be able to be flexible if they want to go sign somebody next week.
Well, I saw you did, kind of the big eye emoji too, with Decker there asking for his release from the Detroit Lions. Do you think that would be a good option to go and try to get a player like that?
Listen, I would always be a proponent and advocate of adding as many good offensive linemen as you can. The big eye emoji is more of Detroit just loses another good player, and their preferred offensive line a couple years ago is demolished. I mean, 4 of the 5 guys are now gone. Glasgow got released. Decker's gone. Of course, Ragnow retired. Zeitler is a free agent this year, but he wasn't with them last year. And it's just, Penei Sewell is the only guy left at right tackle from that awesome offensive line from just a couple of years ago. Just shows you how quickly things can change in the NFL. But we've seen so far, Minnesota, Detroit, Chicago, they've lost a lot of players so far. Decker being another one of those now in Detroit. They're all, they're going to be active, especially Minnesota and Chicago. Minnesota's going to get a new quarterback. Chicago's going to add pieces, but for now, we've seen a lot of players, good players, that are leaving the division, and that's obviously a plus for Green Bay.
For sure. Like, who's your front runner that Minnesota Vikings are going to go after at quarterback? Do you think Malik Willis is an option there in Minnesota?
I think he's an option. It sounds like Kyler Murray may be of interest. The thing with Murray that's so great for any team that acquires him is they get him at a vet minimum because he's got the offset language in his contract. So any team that signs him isn't going to sign him to anything that wouldn't offset anyway. So it doesn't behoove anybody to do anything besides a 1-year league minimum for Kyler Murray. And, Kyler Murray at 40, 50 million or something is not great. Kyler Murray at the league minimum where you can fill out your roster around it. There is certainly some potential there to make something like that work. The other name I think would make some sense is Geno Smith, who we saw today, also likely to be released or traded. And it doesn't seem like there's going to be a trade there. I just think he would give Minnesota a competent quarterback that could compete with JJ McCarthy. I think he'd beat out JJ McCarthy just based on what we saw a year ago, but give them a better option. When you give Geno Smith good weapons and a solid offensive line, he has been successful. He had neither of those things really with the Raiders outside of Brock Bowers a year ago, and it was abysmal, but I do think he could potentially be a fit for them as well.
Andy, is it wrong? Andy Herman joining us here on the Mason Crosby Show. Is it wrong that I want Geno Smith to go to Minnesota because I want Kyler Murray to sign a 1-year deal with the Packers and to be the backup and to go to the Matt LaFleur quarterback school? As much as we may question what's going on with the Packers, why they can't finish games, do they need more of a killer instinct? You can't debate the quarterback school that they are running and what they did with Malik Willis. Is there any chance that Kyler Murray sees what they did with Malik Willis, says, like, I need to reinvent myself. I'm going to the Packers school for a year, and then I'll cash in with a bigger contract after figuring this out?
No.
No. I love that. I appreciate it. You're right, but I can dream, though. Can I? Yeah.
So here's the thing, right? If I'm an agent of Kyler Murray, of an Anthony Richardson, of somebody who needs to revitalize their career and sort of like that, I'm calling Matt LaFleur. I'm calling the Green Bay Packers and saying, I want to come and play for you guys for a year. I'll take the league minimum. I'll do what I need. I just need, that 1 year of sort of a refresh, probably going to get in a couple games here or there, and I can come in and succeed. I would be looking for that if I were playing. Now, Kyler's probably not quite to that level because I think somebody's going to give him a starting job. And if you get a starting job, you're not taking a backup job somewhere. But if you are an Anthony Richardson, if you are a Will Levis, if you are somebody like that who was highly touted coming out of school, were a first, second, third round pick, and it just hasn't gone your way so far, I would, there's nowhere else I'd rather go than Green Bay right now.
Yeah. I mean, because if Malik Willis goes and gets paid, now it's like, okay, yeah, this backup job in Green Bay is actually a pretty good spot. And it's happened now multiple times with quarterbacks in Green Bay. Matt Flynn did the same thing. And now it looks like Malik Willis is going to cash in as well. Sure. I do want to ask you specifically, again, something in the NFC North. What do you think about the DJ Moore trade?
Yeah, so a couple things. I mean, you don't hate seeing DJ Moore leave the division just because he's had some pretty big moments, especially this past year against Green Bay. But I have to say, I think that's highway robbery by the Bears. I thought they did fantastic to get a second-round pick for DJ Moore. I personally, if you would have said, what did the Bears get for DJ Moore? I probably would have said a fourth-round pick. I would have even leaned more. If you would have said they got a fifth-round pick or a second-round pick, what do you think they got? I would say they got a fifth-round pick. Never in a million years would I thought they got a second. Now, it's a late second-round pick. They gave up a fifth-round pick as well. It's really probably closer to third-round compensation if you take everything into consideration. But you still have to figure that the Bears are going to get a good, or have the opportunity to get a really good player in the second round where they're selecting now, or utilize that draft pick to help them get a Max Crosby or somebody like that, which of course we don't necessarily want to see from a Green Bay standpoint. So yeah, not bummed to see DJ Moore leave the division, but I thought Chicago did great work. And I'm sick of it, guys, of teams giving the Bears good trades. The freaking Panthers trade that they trade to be able to get Bryce Young, which feeds them everything that they need, including Caleb Williams, that DJ Moore, which now they get another second-round pick out of that is the trade that keeps on giving. And now Bean in Buffalo gives the second-round pick for DJ Moore. Teams have got to stop giving good draft picks for overpriced stuff in Chicago. It's not fair.
Agreed. Absolutely.
When we talk about, so Rashawn Gary is more than likely going to be released from what he posted. What do you think the move is for an Elton Jenkins? I mean, obviously nothing has been said there, but you got to think they're trying to restructure, figure something out, or he's probably going to be gone too. Is that kind of your opinion on that one?
Yeah, with Gary and Jenkins, sort of the thought process has been, I think they're going to try to trade both of them as long as they can. And if they don't get suitors, they'll probably release both of them. If you're going to release both, you probably have that conversation first of saying, hey, here's the number we want you at. Are you willing to accept it? And I think that number is going to be low enough where both players say no. I think both players are probably and rightfully proud enough to say, no, I'm not going to take a pay cut. I'm going to go see what I can get on the open market. It's not a great free agency class. Jenkins and Gary should both have good markets on the free agent market once they're released. And so, yeah, I think that ultimately ends up being a release. But I think, we saw it with Jair Alexander a year ago. Green Bay likes to hang on and try to exhaust all avenues to try to trade somebody. And until they get that firm no of just like, all right, we clearly aren't going to get anything here. And it seems like maybe it's got that way with Rashawn already. But if they can't find a trade with Elton, I would think he's probably on the way out as well.
Well, and Mason, you've mentioned that in the past, that is the Packers way. It's like they go to guys and they give them like kind of a low ball offer, knowing they're not going to accept it. If they do, I guess they'd call the bluff, and then you'd have a guy at a discount. But like, if you're cutting somebody's salary in half where they think they can get, similar salary on the free agency market, it doesn't make sense to stay in Green Bay.
Yeah, for sure. And we talked about this yesterday. My thought though on Elton Jenkins is obviously he's hurt, he's injured. He's gonna, he's in a recovery process. But like you talked about, good offensive linemen, and you can't have enough of them. Is it just now his salary? And I feel like again they did him dirty, putting him at center, doing all these things. Like as a guard, I mean, he is an elite player. So it's like, it's almost a little like the Rashawn Gary makes a little more sense to me. The Elton Jenkins stuff doesn't necessarily, because he's one of their guys. He's like, he's a guy that has performed at a high level, has been, Pro Bowl, done his thing. Like what, like, are you okay with them letting him go? If they can't restructure, you feel like they have enough pieces to make that offensive line viable next year?
Yeah, it's a really interesting question. So, I mean, really good. Elton Jenkins has been so good for Green Bay and so much versatility. You can play him so many spots, and certainly just putting him in at guard and letting him play guard, he's been good there. I would say personally in 2024, when he was at guard still, I thought there were signs of true decline and he wasn't quite the same as he was in years prior. What I saw on tape in 2025 was a player that maybe it was due to center. Maybe that was all that it was, but he didn't have the same, again, I'm not trying to call somebody out for maybe not playing the hardest or whatever. It just didn't seem like he had the same
aggression.
Yeah, ruthless aggression is a great way to put it. I just didn't see the same player. I didn't see the same Elton Jenkins. I don't know if it was because he was moved to center. I don't know if because there was sort of a little bit of a contract dispute before that. I don't know if he was upset with the team. I don't know what it was, but I didn't see the same guy. If you could get good Elton Jenkins at guard, the $20 million or whatever that you save, you're probably not super worried about, because a good guard, as we saw with Aaron, and Aaron Banks wasn't even a good guard last year. A good guard goes for, around $20 million per year. And on a 1-year deal, you probably don't hate that. I just think Green Bay probably sees the writing on the wall a little bit. It didn't work at center a year ago. It seemed like there was maybe a disconnect between Jenkins and the Packers. And I think he's probably a little bit past that high level play that we've seen in the past. And now it just comes down to a dollars and cents thing. I think they probably do, as you guys were just discussing, go to him and say, here's the number we're comfortable at. I don't think Jenkins is probably willing to accept any sort of pay cut. I think he might need a change of scenery. This just feels like one of those where it might be beneficial for both sides just to say, hey, we both need a change of scenery here. Best of luck to you. Best of luck to you. We're going to use that money elsewhere.
We got Andy Herman joining the Mason Crosby show. You can find him at Pack a Day Podcast. I want one more thing on Elton Jenkins. So playing with him for a few years, the players too that he came in, with that offensive line and all of those things. I agree with you in some regard. I feel like Elton might be one of those guys that needs like a leader, somebody to kind of push him.
Sure.
So like you said, 24, 25, like Bakhtiari's gone. These guys are gone that he kind of like was able to learn under. And now as like kind of the leader of that group, he kind of regressed, and like maybe that's just a personality. And that leads me to my next thing, like veteran players on this team. I saw like a Cam Jordan, doesn't look like he's gonna read like is there like a veteran defensive tackle position like guy that can come in and maybe help this team? Do you think that's something that this squad could really benefit from?
There's one that I really like, and it's crazy because he's 40 years old, but I still love Calais Campbell and what he brings to the table.
Yeah.
And listen, Calais Campbell is not somebody that you want playing 700-800 snaps anymore, but 400-ish snaps of Calais Campbell. He's still a really good run defender. He's still a freak because he got just incredible size and the longest arms that you can imagine. He can play at defensive tackle. He can play at defensive end. You can use him in numerous spots. And he's great at blocking kicks because of that crazy size. He's got multiple block kicks in his career as well. He's also got the familiarity with Jonathan Gannon from Arizona. I get he's 40 years old, and I understand like that is the exact opposite of what Green Bay goes for. Green Bay might go up like 3 age groups in average by just signing Calais Campbell to the roster at this point in time. But man, you get a veteran like that on the defensive line that is going to maybe push some of those other younger players around him. I think that's great. There was a time where it really felt, and Mason, you can maybe even speak to this better, but it felt like in kind of towards the end of your career, it felt like there was a veteran in every room. It felt like even when they signed to Devondre Campbell, even it felt like they didn't have any veterans in that room. And at the very end, they signed a veteran to that room. And I think they had you in the special teams room, and they had Bakhtiari at offensive line, and they had Mercedes Lewis at tight end. And if Aaron Jones at running back, Kenny Clark at defensive tackle, like you go room by room, and there was sort of one vet guy there to kind of, I don't know how important that is. Again, you could speak much better to that than I would, but it felt like they had sort of a vet mentor in almost every room. I don't know that they still have that. Again, being the youngest team in the league 3 years in a row, adding a couple guys like that to the roster, it feels like it could help in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, I always think like an experienced kind of wily veteran that maybe has been other places as well in some of those rooms is really helpful. They're just going to bring a level of knowledge and give these young guys that maybe have only experienced Green Bay as well, just an insight into what it takes to have longevity and play in this league at a different level. Because I do think sometimes Green Bay, it's very comfortable. Like there is a lot of good that happens. It's all about ball. It's all about taking care of going out there and playing, at the best of your ability. But I think sometimes guys get comfortable if they don't see or feel or like experience something else. So I do think some of those spaces are really, really important to fill that void. I mean, when Julius Peppers came in, saw a jump in that. Charles Woodson in those spaces, like those types of things are really important.
No, I totally agree.
Andy Herman joining us here on the Mason Crosby Show. As we look at free agency, I think a lot of us are thinking about cornerback, and is that a position that the Packers need to look at? Are there any defensive backs that you're keeping your eye on in free agency? Not knowing that they signed Nate Hobbs last year, and so they went cornerback last year. Obviously, they went McKinney, a safety the year before. Do you think they need to go cornerback? And if they do, is there anybody you're watching?
Yeah, I'll give you a corner, and I'll give you one player on offense too that I've kind of been talking about that I think Green Bay has a type, right? They like a player coming off their first contract, still around 26, 27 years of age or younger, that they can usually give a 4-year contract to. They don't like those stopgap players that's willing to accept Green Bay's kind of standard 4-year contract in the way that they kind of do things. And they've kind of been coming off their best season, and they're looking at, can this player take a jump when they come to Green Bay? Worked with Zadarius Smith, fantastic. Worked with Xavier McKinney. It's worked with a lot of other people. Didn't work quite as great last year with Aaron Banks and Nate Hobbs, but there's a type that they look for. Corner, Monteric Brown from Jacksonville. Easily played his best ball in Jacksonville a season ago. Is coming off his 4th year, his rookie contract. He's still, I think, 27 years old, and he looked good. His tape is really, really fun. It was sort of a 1-year spike. If you look at his years prior, he wasn't as good. So Green Bay's kind of, again, taking that gamble that what they saw in 2025 was the real version, and that he can even take maybe another step in 2026. But those are usually the gambles that they like to take. And I do think he'd be maybe a little bit of a tier below between where some of the top market cornerbacks would be. Then on the offensive side, Cade Mays is almost the exact same conversation at center. I'm not a huge Cade Mays guys. I do like Monteric Brown, but Mays is a big physical center, arguably coming off his best year of his career in Carolina. Again, off of his rookie deal, again, 26, 27 years old. And he would be somebody that would be able to come in and add some size, bulk, and just stability to the center of that offensive line. So those are two names that just, if you look at what Green Bay tends to do in free agency, those two would potentially make some sense of players that I think Goody and company might be interested in.
I like that.
Nice.
I got a side question that I'm curious, and like honestly, both of y'all with your wrestling enjoyment. Have y'all seen this stuff with Logan Paul calling out
NFL players?
NFL players. And then Le'Veon Bell goes at him and he's like, well, you're not in the NFL, like you're retired, all this stuff, and you can fight. And it's like,
right, he's a trained fighter.
Yeah, but I'm like, so that is your stipulation?
Yeah.
Is that like someone shouldn't be able to fight? Like, who does he want to fight? Like, is he hoping a kicker or punter?
Tyreek Hill.
Like,
he wants to fight Tyreek Hill.
Like, what do you think about that? Do you think that's anything like that would ever happen? And would you be for it if if they actually got to fight together?
Well, what I'll say is this is there's very rarely something that one of the Paul brothers doesn't say that they've already got something planned, right? Like it always feels like there is a marketing plan for something. So I don't know. And again, it's going to be really tough. You can't get an active NFL player to sign off on it because they have contracts to, not do that type of stuff. I don't think anyone's going to be super happy if Myles Garrett in Cleveland, if Myles Garrett signs up for an MMA fight.
Did Micah Parsons really already tweet that he's got $1 million? Just let me get healthy first.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like Micah's in.
I think Micah Parsons with his speed and his
Logan Paul's 220 pounds. Does he have to match up weight wise with somebody?
It didn't seem like that's what he said.
He didn't say it, but
the two people. Okay, if we're putting an MMA fighter together from the NFL, there's two people that stand out. Myles Garrett is number 1A on my list.
Oh, God.
And then he's a little bit old now, but Trent Williams too. Those two are just freaks among freaks. Those are two people you do not want to get into any sort of altercation with, that it just feels like it would be painful for you no matter what. And I don't know how, again, if you're Logan Paul at 220 and Trent Williams is 330, 340 and one of the most agile humans on earth at 340, that I would, hey, sign me up. If Trent Williams decides if something doesn't work out with the 49ers and they end up parting ways and Williams decides, you know what? Fine, I'll take up you up on your offer for a fight. I'll sign them. I'm not a big fight guy, an MMA guy, anything like that. I like wrestling, but I will sign up to watch Trent Williams versus Logan Paul. I'd gladly watch that.
But he wants it to be a boxing match. He doesn't want it to be MMA.
Okay.
He doesn't want it to be. I think he legit wants it to be a true boxing match with boxing judges. Like not necessarily a
that's what he said, right?
Yeah.
He wants it to
he wants a boxing match with boxing judges. And I think part of that is he wants to see like these guys are not boxing trained, that he can beat them in a boxing match, which is a lot different than like if he meets Micah Parsons in a dark alley.
Am I crazy to think he might be right? Like there's an art and a round by round, like to boxing of just stamina and everything. Like, obviously NFL players are insane shape. Don't get me wrong, but
sure.
But like a true, like straight up boxing match. Would be a lot tougher.
I think Paul might have a shot.
I think so too.
But I think that's why like Le'Veon Bell was like, I'll fight you, but because he's trained.
Like, no, you're an actual boxer.
You're a trained boxer.
I'm not fighting a boxer. I'm fighting guys who've never boxed before.
Brock Lesnar, by the way, one of the if you really think about it, like he tried out in the NFL for a cup of coffee with the Vikings, one of the better professional wrestlers, and then goes to MMA and wins the heavyweight title. Just what an unbelievable freak that guy was too. Just remarkable what some of these people are capable of.
I always like that, like crossover, like who could do another sport or play other things. I mean, I've talked about this before. I remember we used to do pickup basketball games and like for charity in the off season for like the Green Bay Packer players. Jermichael Finley did a 360 dunk over a guy in one of these pickup games. And I was just like, all right, I'm just going to stand out here by the 3-point line. And I'll shoot every once in a while and let these guys cut it loose. He for sure could have played basketball in college.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, I bet
Julius Peppers played ball at UNC.
He did play ball. Jimmy Graham, yeah,
it's just crazy.
Tremont Williams could dunk at 5'9" or 5'10".
Wasn't Devontae quite the basketball player too?
Devontae, great basketball player, yeah.
Mace, what's your game?
Golf, yeah.
No, but no. What's your basketball?
But that's my game.
When J. Mike passed it out to you at the 3-point line, would you knock down some threes?
Oh, I'd hit it. Yeah,
for
sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I have a great mid-range shot. Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna be dribbling all over the place. I'll play great defense and hit the shots whenever I'm called on.
Was it a basketball game when LaFleur tore his ACL or Achilles, or what was it?
No, it was him doing like it was the knockout. He was playing knockout.
Okay.
Yeah.
What was it, the Achilles or the ACL?
It was his Achilles. Yeah.
Were you there? Were you playing in that one?
It was during one of our, so we used to do that every like team meeting early on in his, whenever he first got there, he'd call up a couple guys and they'd have to play knockout. And I think he was doing it in an offensive meeting and tore his Achilles.
You guys have probably talked about this. I don't know. You might not have time, but what, Mason, you've been a part of this. What did you make of the NFLPA grades and how much stock would you put into LaFleur dropping a letter grade and just the organization, you're ranking 21st. They've been top 10 the last 3 years. It was a pretty big fall.
That's a pretty big move. And again, it's you got to take it somewhat with a grain of salt because, the argument is that the most disgruntled people and all that. But if you have disgruntled people that are giving grades, like that does say a little bit of what's going on in that locker room. And then the fact that those grades finished up and then they lost 5 games in a row after, you got to kind of look at that. And that's just not a coincidence. Yeah. The training room stuff, like not trusting, and I talked about it a lot last year as the season was unfolding, and just from my outside observation, like it felt like trust and communication was an issue in that space, and it just didn't feel like everybody was on the same page all the time. So it'll be interesting to see what they can adjust, right? And I think it needs to be open and honest communication where it's like, if you bring a new player in, if you got these young guys coming up and they're expected to do something, tell them exactly what you're expecting from them. And if they don't get it done, then they aren't going to be a part of this plan. Like I think some of those tough conversations need to happen more often up there in Green Bay.
Yeah, no, I think that's fair.
Yeah, Andy, we had Aaron Popke on earlier today to talk about the legacy of Bob Harlan and that. I don't know if you have any, being around the team for so long, living up there. I think Bob Harlan touched everybody who's a Packers fan who lives in the state of Wisconsin. But did you have any memories or thoughts about the passing of Bob Harlan?
Yeah, never was able to meet Bob, unfortunately. But we toss around the word legend probably a little bit too easily. He is a legend in Packers history. What he was able to do to sort of get this organization back to where it needed to be, quite frankly, I think arguably even saving the organization or at least putting it in a spot where it altered it in a very positive way for the rest of Packers history. Enough positive things cannot be said. Everybody that's about Bob Harlan has nothing but glowing. There are two people that you really get a firm feel of the character that they were, Bart Starr and Bob Harlan. There's two people that you just, no matter who you talk to, no matter what anybody says, it's positive. There's people you talk to in Green Bay that have had, off the cuff interactions with it. And it's positive every single time. Bob Harlan's been one of those people. Again, wish I would have been able to meet him at some point in time and get to talk to him. But like I said, a truly legendary person in the history of the Packers franchise.
Well said. Yeah, for sure.
Thank you, Andy. Yeah, I totally agree. And I think most of us who are Packers fans who grew up in Wisconsin, we agree with that as well, having watched all the different things that have transpired with the Packers and what they've been able to build in Titletown and everything. I mean, it all is touched by the legacy of Bob Harlan, no doubt about it.
Very much so.
Andy, thank you so much for jumping on. Good luck this weekend. Good luck Monday. Free agency, the impending shadow of free, it is upon us. And we are ready for it. So enjoy. We'll be following everything at Pack-A-Day Podcast on the YouTube channel, everywhere you listen to your podcasts. Andy's got it just completely dialed in. So thanks so much for taking some time today.
Appreciate it. Tommy's still working today, right? He doesn't have a day off, does he? You don't give him days off.
Tommy's in Arizona this week.
He's in Arizona
working,
all week.
Though, right? He's
working.
Okay.
Yeah, working.
He
doesn't take vacation. No. We don't give him vacation.
No, I didn't want him to get rusty. I just want to make sure. You guys have a great weekend. I'll talk to you.
I think he gets 1 day every 6 months.
I think that's the rule.
1 day every 6 months.
Too much.
But once, now that baseball started, he gets 0 days for the rest of the year till October.
Can't let him get rusty.
Nice.
Appreciate you guys. Have a great weekend.
Thank you, Andy. You're the absolute best. Andy Herman. Follow him at Andy Herman NFL. Just totally dialed in. Lives, breathes, bleeds the green and gold, and love that he's on our team. So
yeah, he crushes it.
Yep. We're gonna look at to the weekend. There's a lot of college basketball and March Madness in full effect. Obviously, free agency is coming. And will the Bucks ever win a game ever again?
Not likely.
Not likely. He's Mason Crosby. I'm Mitch Nellis. We are the Mason Crosby Show, presented by Verizon. This is the Mason Crosby Show, presented by Verizon, the official 5G network of the Green Bay Packers. As always, we are live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. It's going to be a fun one at the Sportsbook tomorrow, Mason. Couple big local college basketball matchups.
Yeah.
Some bigger than others, just because Marquette hasn't quite had the season we would have liked they would have. But number 4, UConn is in town tomorrow.
Oh, nice.
To face the Marquette Golden Eagles. That's an 11:30 tip on Fox. UConn favored by 9.5 in that one. And then the Badgers are at Purdue for a 3 o'clock tip. That one on CBS. Purdue favored by 6.5. A couple good, again.
You feel like that's a fair number? Do you think
that's 6.5?
Yeah.
I think it is. I mean, it's on the road.
Yeah.
And Nolan Winter day-to-day is the report, but I'm guessing he does not play.
Did they give an official diagnosis?
I think it was a sprained ankle.
Okay.
But not
So they
not
didn't
a
say
high.
hi.
They
Okay.
did not say hi. Is what I saw. I'll check that again. But I saw that they were listing him originally as day-to-day.
Did
Yeah.
you see what I just saw that they're saying perhaps Rashawn Gary's Instagram was hacked? And that nothing has actually, it wasn't him that posted that?
Oh my gosh, that'd be unbelievable.
Yeah, but they're just saying like I saw multiple reports. It's like
they're
don't-
saying-
just hold on, nothing actually has happened yet, and he might have been hacked. So
Wow. That'd be wild.
that would be wild, wasn't it? Didn't that happen? Something happened, like a draft deal, or it was the guy that was getting
Shedeur
drafted.
Sanders got
No, the guy that was his Instagram got hacked and his phone got hacked, and they got the video of him with the gas mask, smoking.
Lormy Tunsil.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, Lormy Tunsil. Yeah,
So this isn't the
offensive
first. It
lineman.
wouldn't be the first time something like that has happened, but
Yeah,
what an interesting world we live in.
it really is. Yeah, that would be all right. So we'll keep our eyes on this Rashawn Gary situation.
What if that happens and all of a sudden, they
comes
restructure and he's
Right.
back, and we're like,
Then they say, hey, this is part of the deal with social media and with
Yeah.
technology is that
that's why the Packers wait till they're the last ones to ever report it. They're
Yep.
like, until we say it, it hasn't actually happened.
why are people let's say he was hacked. Let's play what if.
Who's
what,
doing that,
What are we
right?
doing here?
What?
Why can't we be better people?
I agree.
Why as a human race? That's what we're taking our time doing. How about why don't you go? You know what? Instead of that, and especially if it's somebody in the state of Wisconsin or wherever you are, instead of that, why don't you show up to Bowling with the Chumps tomorrow morning at the New Berlin Ale House, where we're raising money for Sophia, who's diagnosed with acute lymphoblastic leukemia in September of 25. And we're raising all sorts of money. Josh Albrecht is in charge of this. He runs this fundraiser every year. It's his baby. He's a big bowler. He bowled in college. All proceeds go directly to Sophia and her family. I know the bowling is filled up, but there's tons of stuff in the silent auction. So if you have time tomorrow from 9 till 1 or 9 till 2, stop by the New Berlin Ale House. I know Trevor Thomas is going to be there from 9 till maybe 11. I think he's going to the Marquette game. I think Trevor Thomas is doing double duty tomorrow. I think triple duty. I think he's coming to Bowling with the Chumps early, 9 till 10:30, 11. I think he's then going to UConn at Marquette at 11:30. Then he's going to the Utah Jazz at the Bucks game tomorrow night at 7. So Fiserv Forum is pulling double duty tomorrow night, hosting the Marquette game at 11:30 and the Bucks game at 7. I've actually seen, Mason, much closer start times than 11:30 and 7, and I've seen that staff go crazy having to flip that court from the Marquette court to the Bucks court.
Yeah.
I just remember the days when the Bradley Center opened, when it was one court.
Yeah.
And it was you just played on your court.
Play
And the
basketball.
Bucks had some signage on it, and Marquette had some signage on it. Right. And you just play basketball. Now, I don't know if you saw this or not, at the Big 12 conference tournament, the women's basketball tournament, they're playing on a glass court. It looks like a court, but it has a glass covering, so they can change the court. And like for the teams that are playing, they could put advertising on it during the timeouts. It's like an LED board that the court is made out of it. Like that's got to be a weird thing to do.
What if all of a sudden, it messes up? Again, we talk about things getting hacked, and all of a sudden, like lights start flashing underneath you,
or some images that aren't safe for work.
Yeah, exactly.
That would be So, but that is going on. So like I said, UConn at Marquette tomorrow at 11:30. Badgers at Purdue. That's kind of the big one that we're watching.
Yeah.
Joe Lunardi came out with his newest bracketology today, and for the first time had the Badgers as a 6.
Okay.
They've been a 7 for the past 3 weeks or so after rising up from an 8 to a 7. Today, I believe, for the first time, had them as a 6. And Mason, I am like, I'm hoping for Nolan Winter's health, and I'm hoping for a 6 seed. I just think like 8 and 7, like those you run up against real, when you hit that 1 versus a 1 or 2, a 6 versus a 3, just those games are so much more winnable if you want to get to the second weekend.
Yeah, you got to get that 6 seed. So I think showing well against Purdue, and then having just at least a solid Big Ten conference tournament is going to solidify that spot. And then like when they kind of release it, we won't know it where, like what region they're playing.
They could go anywhere. Yeah. I know, in the latest one, he has them playing in Portland, because they'd be playing against number 3 seed Gonzaga, which would be obviously a closer game for them. When they were a 7 seed, they were a little bit closer to home, but they had a tougher match. Like they were in Oklahoma City, but they'd be facing number 2 Houston in Oklahoma City, which obviously would be a huge home court advantage. I mean, it's not like Houston's right down the road. I mean, it's still a ways, but
but they'll travel well, and obviously a very good team. I feel like the Gonzagas of the world obviously been really a great program for a long time, but I do think sometimes those are games you can sneak in and win. And find a way, just because they're not playing the competition week in and week out that everyone else is.
414-677-1250 is the Nicolay Law Talking text line. It's the final night for Tim Allen and Tommy Wirtz broadcasting from Arizona, who will join them this evening. Listen to Spring Training Live, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook, tonight from 5 to 7 on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network. Of course, we've been talking all day, not just on our show, but on Inside Wisconsin Sports on 9 to noon with Kuhn. Kuhn's out. He's on vacation, but Rami and Brandon here. And we've talked about it quite a bit, about Bob Harlan, former Packers president and CEO, passing away at the age of 89, absolutely celebrating the life and the impact that he had. And Aaron Popke, who we had on, talked about how there were a number of people who they in their press release, they had Goody and Murphy and Ron Wolf, of course, Holmgren, McCarthy, who might be a good person to get on in the next week or two to see if we can do that. Favre, Rogers, John Schneider. But then I thought there was an interesting one, Bud Selig. And, similar. I mean, Bud Selig, I think, is older. Yeah. I think he might be in his 90s. I've had many wonderful relationships during my long career. My relationship with Bob Harlan was one of the most treasured I've ever had. He was a remarkable human being. He was very kind, very thoughtful, and very smart. And I thought it was interesting also that, like, that's what Aaron Popke left us with. Yeah. Not his football legacy, but his legacy as a person.
Well, I mean, I think, like, being in Green Bay as long as I was too, it's like Bob Harlan was what the city of Green Bay is, right? Yeah. It's like, give you the shirt off his back. Like, he's going to step into spaces, even at the elevated position he was at, he would still just step into, like, kind of the common man space. Yeah. And you just felt that presence from him. He was never too big for any situation. For anything. Yeah. Right. Like it was just like, this is the right thing to do, and we're going to do it that way. And I don't care how it's viewed. Like, this is what we need to do because it's the right thing. And that's just a special human. And I think Andy said it perfectly. There are probably two people, like, through the course of the Packers organization that, like, nobody could ever say anything about as far as other than just positive words, Bart Starr and Bob Harlan. I mean, it's just like those guys have that legacy piece where we throw that GOAT and all those things around a lot. Right. Those two definitely hold up in that conversation.
Absolutely. When we come back, we are going to wrap things up, send you into the weekend. We've got some prep basketball that I have to mention. I'm sure
Ooh.
Mason's got some stuff he's got to get to as well. We'll send you into the weekend next, right here on the Mason Crosby Show, presented by Verizon.
What's on Mason Crosby's mind today?
Now I'm thinking.
It's time for Extra Points, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook on the Mason Crosby Show with Mitch Nellis.
Tell me what's on your mind.
On the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network.
Well, thanks for joining the Mason Crosby Show all week, and as the nice lady, which Mitch knows, I guess, but I don't have
I've seen her picture.
You've seen her,
Yeah, I don't know.
We are presented by Verizon,
Yeah.
the official 5G network of the
What
Green Bay
was it
Packers.
like working a whole week, Mason?
It was awkward. I felt uncomfortable.
Yeah, sure, yeah.
Yeah. So I got to take a little time off. But
As you should.
no, I know Tommy. I'm sure y'all will give me a hard time next week.
As
Tommy,
we will.
It's just like
Yes.
not being in school.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was good. Good week. It's awesome that it's Friday, man.
Yeah.
This week has flown by. It's been a busy week. Nolan has a soccer game. So he's playing on JV and a little bit on varsity right now for the soccer team. So we'll be watching that this evening. It's
Nice.
It's warm here. It's like 80 degrees right now here in Nashville.
I don't want to hear that.
Yeah.
We had our end of regular season girls basketball
So y'all
banquet
in
for Whitefish
playoffs?
Bay. Varsity's in the playoffs. So you mentioned you made all your mid-range jumpers. The JV coach did give Hallie the moniker of the mid-range maestro.
Nice.
Because she is automatic from mid-range.
Love
And
it.
also said that like she's the only one who knew every play. Like she has a future in coaching if she wants
Yeah.
to, which is true. She's a little bossy about it sometimes,
Mm.
like telling like everybody where they're supposed to go.
where they're supposed to
But
go.
she knows, like
Yeah.
like every play that's called, she knows where everyone on the court's supposed to
Yeah.
be, not just herself. So
Accountability and availability. I mean, just be where you
Exactly.
need to be.
Yep. Tomorrow, 1:00 at Waukesha North High School, it is Whitefish Bay versus Whitnall for a chance to go to state. And if Whitefish Bay wins, we'll be in Green Bay next week. So
I love it.
yeah.
I saw.
I'm gonna
Was
stay-
it
I'm
was it
gonna stay at your
Wisconsin
holdouts.
or is it Wisconsin Lutheran or Milwaukee Lutheran? Like they won like 32 straight games, something like
Wisconsin
that.
Lutheran boys. Is
Yeah.
that- well, that's
Yeah.
the Knipples.
The Knipples, right?
Yeah, that's
Are there
Cager.
3 of them on there?
Yes, there are 3
Oh,
of them. There's
it's ridiculous.
what is there? Cager's already got an offer from the Badgers and
Okay.
probably everybody else.
Yeah.
Khan's going to win the Rookie of the Year. Like
I
I know
love
Cooper Flag
Yeah.
came back last night
Yeah.
and was awesome, and so it's going to get really tight. But I think because he missed 10 games
Yeah.
and because Charlotte's going to they're going to make a push here. They just blew out the Celtics.
Nice.
Like I think Con Knippel's going to beat Cooper Flag, which like that's crazy.
that is crazy.
Yeah, like a little old Wisconsin's Con Knippel. Wisconsin's not so bad for prep hoops.
I think we got
some
like
ballers.
Badgers. Gosh, I hope they can get one of the
That would be amazing.
one of the Knippel brothers. That'd be awesome.
That will be absolutely great. So enjoy that weather. It's going to be like 60 something on Monday, but we've got crazy fog and crazy thunderstorms overnight tonight. They said dangerous winds in the state of Wisconsin
Yikes.
tonight. So my mom was like, "Should we tape our windows?" I'm like, "Do people do that anymore?"
Do they tape the?
I guess
I
they
remember
do.
one year I put like that Flex Seal, like
Yeah.
something over it because it was so cold and wind was coming through. But I don't know.
Yeah, you got to do that for the cold. For sure. Yeah. Well, Mace, have a
All
great
right.
weekend. Have a great spring break.
And
And
I'll text you if I have any thoughts next week.
we
Maybe
might
I'll
call
jump
you.
on.
We might
Yeah,
call you in for a segment here and there.
Give me a shout.
Exactly. He's Mason Crosby. I'm Mitch Nellis, aka Thunder. We are the Mason Crosby Show, presented by Verizon, the official 5G network of the Green Bay Packers.
Packers.
Here comes free agency.
Let's go.